the immigrant parents were having a lot of misunderstandings and lack of knowledge of what was going on in Canada with youth, and their youth were having difficulties also. So it was like not only an intergenerational gap, but also it had to do with the adaptation and integration to Canada. So a whole bunch of issues that they were expressing. So they were requesting work with youth.
Young people have tremendous amount of potential and creativity, and oftentimes they don't even recognize the skill and the potential that they have. So, and because they don't recognize it, they don't get the support or have the environment that encourage and nurture that kind of, that they can achieve whatever they want. Sometimes they end up not believing in their skill or their ability. So that leads to a lot of barriers, and some of the barriers that we have identified through some research that we have done in collaboration with Carleton University School of Social Work, looking at barriers that we're facing young black youth in the school system, for example. So one of the barriers is, the mentioned is academic. That stem maybe from economics, not having the financial resources to take extracurricular activities. Some of the barriers could be language. Newly arrived in the country, so they don't speak the language that well. There's also cultural barriers too, right? And in some cases, there are low expectation that is put on the kids who are going to school.
Je crois que cet aspect de leadership est très très important pour les jeunes des communes.
I think this aspect of leadership is very important for the youth of ethnocultural community for two essential reasons. If these are youth that comes from a French cultural tradition, or if their parents come from a francophone country, there are strong chances that the way they conceive their civic action is crafted by what we have learned from our French settlers, which is a lot of humbleness and, in certain cases, a sense of abnegation. Or, in North America, it doesn't work that way. In North America, there is two essential parts. You have to communicate what you can do or can't do, and you have to do it. So it is essential that these young people be well motivated to take their place. And taking your place doesn't mean that you have to bully everybody. Taking your place means to offer to the society, the community in which we live, the best that you can do. So we ask the youth to put on the table the talents and skills that they have.
Like anything else, what we do in our program, we empower the young people to take initiative. We provide guidance, we provide resources and the tool, but we create an environment that cultivates and nurtures that way of development. And I think it's important that the same thing can be applied to an organization or to a community. That community should be the one that's taking the lead, addressing the problem that's facing young people in their community. When outside people do it, then it shows a lack of respect, or a lack of, that we don't recognize the community have the ability to make a difference.
So culturally sensitive programs are very important, because you cannot just apply a mainstream program to a next group without understand the culture of that group or the sentiment of the people in that group. That program might turn out to be ineffective, right? So go back to the Vietnamese Canadian youth, especially the at-risk youth. There's a lot of issues that I see. The language barriers, the social and economic status, the cultural gap between the children and the parents, to mention a few. So those issues here affecting the youth and the parents. And then if we have program from the mainstream applied to youth who live under these circumstances, then it might not be effective. And that's why we need to have the program that designed specifically for a certain group. And that's why we need more study and researches to be done on these certain groups.
I can identify maybe three key elements I think that make the program successful. It's hard work, but at first I think it's having passion for what you believe. I think the passion is the fuel that drives it. Second is to get a good team of people around you who equally believe in the passion. And the third is to create good partnership. So it's creating that kind of partnership, it's documenting your work, it is showing accountability and transparency in terms of how the money is being used, and keeping good record, financial record. It's all of those things combined that I think is necessary, and it takes time to build that. But once you start to build it slowly and you have the evidence, you find that more opportunities and more doors open, and more organizations want to know about you and want to talk to you, want to create partnership.
Because you have to have a group that is working together for the same deal, for the same program, for the same idea. To get good volunteers, and in our case you need a leader that will start all this. Because if you have a good leader that has a vision, your whole group is going to follow.
So I believe very strongly in young people because they have tremendous energy and time on their hand, and by just giving them the tools, never cease to amaze me how much they can do, and let them know that you believe in them.
First of all, to really understand the youth is that no matter what they show us by their behavior or their words, these could hide lots of treasures, lots of talents, lots of abilities. And it's our job to do everything to go get these abilities. And if a youth behaves badly, it is often that he doesn't know how to behave properly. So our role as adults and caregivers is to provide them with tools to expose the positive sides of their talents.
I understand that from some communities, some adults deny youth that opportunity to get involved, and thus create a lot of resentment because the adult have the power. They have, in this context, they have the power. They have the resources, right? They are the one who write the grant. So that's why in the passing the fourth workshop, this is the opportunity that for adult. For the older generation to give to the younger people the chance to get involved and to listen to their voices. Because we have to look at the long-term thing. It's not just one time that you invite 20 youth to come and the next time you see the number decreases, only 10 come, and the third time only 2 comes. I have seen that. So we look back and we reflect what's going on, and we ask those youth, and they say the program is boring. That's why we don't want to come back. We have a lot of program out there, a lot of funds out there, right? In school they have so many programs. So why should I spend time to come back to your program the second time? So it got a lot of thinking, into how to design program that attractive them. Not even the content is good. Even the content they know that is benefit to them or discussion, but they don't want to only discuss. They want to have play too. They want to interact with their friends too.
The children learn how to behave in front of camera. They are gaining confidence, not only for this purpose, but for a future in their life.
Or feeling that their self-esteem has improved, or the public speaking, like they are very proud of telling us oh, right now I can stand in front of the class and talk for a half hour, and it's like nothing. Before I wouldn't even want to stand up in front of the class, and now it has changed, and so they can see the results also at school. It's amazing how they change and they feel that.
Work is that we match with university students with young black youth from grade 8 all the way up to grade 12 who will need help in math, English, French, and science. And we try to the best of our ability to match them with youth that looks like them from similar cultural backgrounds. So not only will they provide the academic assistance to these youth, but they also would automatically serve as a positive role model. And we want to expose youth to successful individual that looks like them, you know. What I've noticed in my years of working with young people is that there's a lot of tutoring services out there that are doing a fantastic job. But a lot of tutors don't look like the young people, and so it also creates that kind of inferiority complex. If you think that the person who's always teaching you, you know, doesn't look like you. So we really want the kids to realize that any subject that's out there, they can master it with proper training and proper support and culture and proper mentorship.
Leadership is very important because there is a huge need among youth to receive the support, but many times they are reluctant to accept it from adults. So if they become leaders, they are empowered to help each other. Because many of these girls who have been immigrants, they have gone through bullying or people laughing at them because they didn't know the language or the accent or whatever. So they're very sensitive to all these trust issues that are hard to work with, so that you really have a team. But once you have the team, it really works. And once they are a good team and they are committed to help others, then the group is so powerful. Now, the fact that there were some girls who were born in Canada, it was very helpful for the newcomers. So they would feel connecting with the rest and learning from people who already know the language and the culture, and vice versa, because, for example, the first generation didn't really understand what to be a newcomer was.
We have understood that it is fundamental to associate the parents in our process, to make them understand what we want to do with the youth, the programs that are there in place, to permit them to reinforce these programs at home so they become complementary and efficient. So the parents are around us. We work separately with them in the program that concerns them alone, and we also work with them in the programs that we have with the kids, to permit them to be there, to associate themselves as volunteers, to support what we are doing, and to provide us with feedback on what they see we could improve.
So in our culture, it's important to have parents engage also, because the authority, like parents have more control over the girls. So they want to make sure that you know what's going on, and that I approve that I trust. What is it that they are doing that I can trust? So, yeah, for us, right from the beginning, it was very important to connect with the parents. So the first session with the girls was also a first session with the parents. Like, even if the parents were not going to participate in the parents group, we asked them to go the first time. We wanted them to see us, to see even the place where the girls were going to be, to see the whole program. I also kept in touch by email with them all the time. So not only to remind them any event or anything different going on, but also to let them know what we're doing.
Nous sommes aussi des encadreurs.
But we are also the ones who provide a framework. People who are there to understand them, understand their dynamics, to permit them to go further. At one level, we are partners that are there to listen to their needs, to listen to what they want to achieve. So it means that in these different components, the youth find their path. They find ways to go forward.
Because a leader needs to be aware of that everything she knows is for helping others. To inspire other people, also to support, to help. A group of youth is very powerful to support. It's very powerful. It's amazing how they can support each other. We have heard so many stories of success that show us the great impact. Like, for example, a girl writing an evaluation form that, thanks to this project, I decided not to take any drugs that my friends offered to me. Or I help a friend to get out of an abusive relationship. I help a friend to increase self-esteem. I mean, it's like, wow, those are big things, because that's a very important stage of your life. It makes a big difference.
Et on a incité les jeunes à travailler sur des projets qui les intéressent. Et avec 3 composants, une composante.
We invited the youth to work on projects that were appealing to them. Those projects had to have 3 components. One component was visibility, one component was fundraising, and one component was solidarity, which means, what could you do to help others? And those youth came back with tiny projects that were plainly magnificent. I recall a group of youth that put together a project to organize a sporting event with the international organization Right to Play, who helps kids from war-torn countries to play and do sports. Because when kids are given a chance to play, they are happy. So that group of 4 youth built a project here in Ottawa. It was a sporting event, a race, where at the end, every participant would give $10, where there would be a barbecue and a lemonade sales and other things like that would permit them to raise money to help this non-for-profit organization, help other kids, and also at the same time keep some of the money to finance their own activities here. Personally, I found that it was a project that had it all, which means that over all their differences of age, gender, and religion, they were able to put together a practical activity in bringing together the parents and other youth, and also to raise money for themselves and to save some of this money to help an organization that was developing programs to help hundreds and hundreds of youth throughout the world. I think it was a magnificent initiative.
Une initiative magnifique.
They want to be given more opportunity. They want us to hear their voices. They want the older generation to trust in their ability that they can do a lot of good things. They can change a lot of good things. And I think absolutely right, because younger generations, as we knew, I mean, they make a lot of good things change in our societies, not only here in Canada but across the world. And look back into the history, younger generation plays a very important role in bringing about the positive changes.